Hey guys, what's up? Two Wheel Turbine making another video, and today's video is pretty funny. It's about how my drone, my DJI Spark, flew away from me just like 2 days after having it. This was so disappointing. Pretty funny story, and actually resulted in a broken frame of the drone. And I actually have video that I'll put in here in a little bit of when it began flying away. So yeah, I just got this Spark. It was a used Spark. I didn't want to pay the full $400 for a brand new one. So I was looking online, looking at the used markets, and I found one on a app called OfferUp. And the guy was asking, I think, $220 or $240, something along those lines. And I was like, hey, that's not too bad. It's a lot less than the original price. It didn't come with the controller, which kind of sucked. So eventually I talked him down, and he agreed to $180, which I was like, hey, that's pretty fair. I feel like that's a good price for the drone. So I meet up with him, meet up at a gas station, and I'm like, hopefully this drone's good. So I asked him to fly it, and like he just flew it right there at the gas station. So I was like, okay, everything checks out, it's good. And so I was super excited, I got this new drone. I've been wanting one for a really long time up until this point. I always liked RC and just the ability to film things, that's just something. So to combine those was really awesome for me. And so when I got it, I took it home, started flying it, everything was working fine. I got a lot of cool clips. And then one time, I was out in my backyard with my dad, and you'll see this. I was just flying it up above us. I'll put in the video right now. I was just flying it, I think I was like 50 feet above us or something along those lines, just trying to get a cool video of the scenery or the sunset or something, kind of forgot what it was. And suddenly, I look down at my phone, which you control it with your phone if you don't have the actual remote controller, and it says like calibration failed, like no connection. I'm just like, what? And then the next second, I look up, the drone just takes off full speed in the other direction, and I'm like, oh my god. It flies over the neighbor's house, flies over the other neighbor's house, just keeps going non-stop. Like, this thing's on a mission to just get away from me as fast as possible. It was absolutely terrifying after just dropping this much money on it, and I just see this thing take off from me. So my dad sees it take off, he flips out, he like runs out trying to go get it. I'm just like standing there in complete shock, like, no way, this drone really just flew away from me. That really just happened. And so it flies away. I have absolutely no idea where it went. It's like 10 minutes gone by since this incident. We're looking all around trying to think, where could it have gone? And I really thought, you know, this thing's gone. There's no chance we're gonna find it, because where the direction it's flying in, there's kind of like this little forest area where there's a lot of trees and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if it, you know, it's 50 feet up in the sky, eventually it's gonna hit a tree, but what if that tree's, you know, 100 yards into that forest? How am I gonna know where it is? I'm like, oh my gosh, I only got to take a few videos of this drone and I already lost it. So then I look on the app, and it still shows the live battery percentage. I'm like, whoa, I guess it still, you know, has a connection. It's still connecting with the phone itself. It's kind of weird. Like, I couldn't control it, but I could see the condition the drone was in, and I saw, and then I looked, and it's like pointing at some branch, the camera, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna find it? But then the next thing you know, I looked on the app, and they have this like tracking ability, and thank God that was there, because if that did not exist, there's no chance I would find the drone. So I see where it kind of is, the general area. It doesn't do a really good job at pinpointing it, and so I start walking over in that area. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is real or just some glitch. Like, is it actually pointing out where this drone is? And next thing you know, I look up. It's getting dark at this point, so I'm really desperate. I'm like, oh, it's getting dark. It's supposed to like rain the next day. If I don't find it, this drone's gonna be done for. And I look up in this tree, and I just see this blinking red light, like 15 feet up in this tree. I'm like, no way. I get a little closer, and of course, it's the drone. Man, thank God for that tracking thing. Thank God, like, the drone didn't just completely break, or there's no chance I was gonna find it. So yeah, I climbed up that tree, and it kind of sucked. There were a lot of thorns and stuff getting up that tree, but got the drone. Unfortunately though, the frame actually had a crack for one of the arms of the Spark, but luckily I just glued it back together, and it seems to be working now. But just a really funny story about how that thing flew away from me. was probably my fault, potentially. I called DJI, and they said sometimes if there's a lot of metal objects nearby, and especially like telephone towers and electrical towers, sometimes it can interfere with the connection, and the drone thinks it's, you know, receiving an input, when it's not supposed to be receiving that input, and it might just fly off. So that was definitely a scary experience, because I had no idea where it went. But I hope you guys enjoyed that little story about how my DJI Spark flew away. I'll catch you guys on the next video.